Take it away.
Okay, how about you introduce, from now on, you introduce us.
From now on?
Okay, just for today.
Just for today. Okay.
Let's start this over.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 5th annual edition of Dungeons and Podcasting, where we talk about my favorite RPG, dungeon crawling. And Zach doesn't like dungeon crawlers.
I like 7.
He likes one dungeon crawler. Hello and welcome. This is QGP, Quadratics Gaming Podcast, until we can come up with something that's a little nicer.
Yeah.
We're still working on that.
Yeah, I think I need to keep doing the introductions, though.
I am. Yeah, you probably should. You just get straight to the point. I ramble. I'm Charles Fillmore. This is...
Okay, Zach Tussek. I didn't know what you were going to do this time.
We'll get it nailed down. Don't worry.
Yeah, so before we go switch into the Nintendo news, let's talk about the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo. Special demo.
Yeah. So it seems like I've seen people are getting like different things for playing it more than one time. And I only played it the one time.
Yeah, same.
And I like a lot of the things that it's doing. I like the way it kind of streamlines a lot of parts of the battle system, I guess. But it honestly feels like the same thing that we've had for so long.
Really? Because I had like the opposite opinion. I've never been a huge fan of the Pokemon games. I've enjoyed them, but I think they all feel really outdated. And this is the first one I'm actually like legitimately excited for.
Clover's excited as well.
I was going to say, I'm not the only one, apparently.
Okay. I just want to replace we'll drop the disclaimer. We are joined once again by the lovely and sometimes vocal Clover. So please excuse any baby-type noises you may experience.
Okay, now back to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I don't like it, and I'm also very excited for Sun and Moon because it looks like they're changing a lot of things that have kind of grown stale in the series.
Yeah, really just modernizing it.
Yeah, I know. I really like in the battle system how it will show you once you've encountered and defeated a Pokemon, it will show you what moves are effective or not so effective against them.
Yeah, I really liked that feature because I am terrible at like all the more obscure types. I can never remember that stuff. So,
and it's especially good because they're going to be 800 plus some Pokemon now.
Yeah, did they say how many you'll encounter like during the main story? Because I'm sure most of those are like post game.
If they've said it, I haven't seen it anywhere. But okay. I mean, at last count, we were at 700.
Yeah,
and they're bound to introduce like another 150.
Yeah, but I'm really enjoying the art style of this game. It really looks like an episode of the anime. I mean, albeit in a lower resolution, but
yeah. And I like that they've more or less abandoned the grid based level design.
Yeah, so you can actually move. Yeah, I guess we're saying the same thing.
Yeah. And they've got more interesting camera angles, so it really feels more open. Like it's probably more or less the same kind of structure, but it feels a lot better. It feels more free.
Yeah, and the Alola region itself is really interesting. I think it's probably the most unique one they've come up with.
Yeah.
So
I especially like the Pokemon variations.
Yeah, those are really cool.
And I hope that that's something that they continue to do. Mm-hmm. And maybe if they revisit older games, which they've done before, maybe that's something they'll do there.
Possibly, because the next one would be Diamond and Pearl, right? Yeah, that'd be the next generation.
That came after
remake, so.
Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see that on another system.
Maybe.
So they're also getting rid of badges in this one.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, there's no longer gyms. It's like trials that you have to go through.
Oh, okay. So is that kind of what the first part of the demo?
Well, I mean, that was a specific... Like, they made that demo specifically as a demo. Like, none of that stuff will be in the final game.
Oh, okay. But is that kind of like a taste of what it'll be? So taking pictures of Pokemon. So, is this Pokemon Snap 2?
It's kind of... They're throwing a lot in here. Like, they kind of did the Pokemon Ami thing that they've, like, redone.
Yeah.
So that you're, like, brushing them off. And apparently, like... certain characters, like I think the evolved version of whatever the owl is, like if he gets, is that the evolved version?
I don't know what the evolved version is called. Keep going.
Okay, but like when it gets into its evolved state, apparently it's like if it gets dirty in battle, which they will now, like it won't want to fight.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you have to like clean him off, and there's like specific things about different Pokemon.
Oh, cool! I really like that. So your Pokemon, I guess, not necessarily battle damage, but they do like kind of wear a little bit.
Yeah. So it's apparently like going to be a really frustrating phase in his evolution to get through, but then once you get through it, he's apparently very powerful.
Okay.
So you kind of have to build bonds with your Pokemon that way.
I really like that.
Yeah.
Because one thing that always kind of confused me was everyone in the game is always like, "Oh, your bond with your Pokemon is so strong. It's like you're such good friends and you fight so hard for each other." And it's like you're just kind of playing the game. You're not really that special, but like this gives you more of kind of an emotional attachment to your Pokemon. You physically care for them and make sure that they're happy, and I really like that. They kind of introduced that with X and Y, and for lack of a better word, it was pretty lackluster.
It's a pretty good word. But I think they're like really going like all in on adding a lot of personality traits to each different type. So
it's seeming like this is going to be Nintendo's Pokemon edition. Nintendo's Red and Nintendo's
just with
Blue.
a lot more to do in it.
Yeah,
as opposed to just walking it.
Well, and then there's the PC, the PC Resort.
Oh yeah. There's a lot more story too, like with the Ether Foundation. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of mystery surrounding them. I love Team Skull.
Oh man,
they're so good. Like just watching them, like sitting on one of their text boxes and just watching their animations.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Oh man, they have so much character. This is going to be a really good game, and I feel like it's going to be a good like breath of fresh air for the series. So I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I think this is going to be like the first Pokemon game that actually engages me. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
I feel that like a lot of the other games feel very static and menu based, and this one seems a lot more open. So
yeah.
Also, speaking of story, the Ultra Beasts.
The Ultra Beasts.
What do you think of them?
I'm kind of blanking out. I don't remember. I might have not read that announcement, or because I'm not 100% up to date on all the announcement videos. So what are the Ultra Beasts?
Well, that's the thing. They're not really saying. So you can't catch them. They're not technically Pokemon, but they haven't revealed what they are.
Are they like summons then? Maybe.
Well, I don't know, because like in the cutscenes they show UBO-1, which is the first Ultra Beast you encounter, like just appearing through a portal, like a wormhole.
Okay, so is it a random event then?
It's a story-based event, and then there's actually two different versions of UBO-2, depending on which version of the game you get. So the cutscenes and events will be the same, just with different characters.
Right.
And apparently, a lot of fans are speculating that because these Pokemon look like characters in the game, like I think UBO-1, they say it looks a lot like Lily. I think there's some connection there, or at least the fans are speculating.
Huh, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, so you'll have to look that up. There's a whole trailer for it.
That makes me that almost sounds like maybe there's some kind of plot where someone is trying to, like, I guess, turn humans into some kind of Pokemon-esque thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things this could be. I mean, maybe
fusion, maybe
they're like from another dimension or something. I mean, they all come through wormholes, so
right.
I have no idea, but I like the idea of there being a mystery in a Pokemon game. So,
oh man, I'm all about it.
So, last question: which version are you going to get?
I'm honestly leaning towards Moon, just because I really like the mascot Pokemon. The Sun, or the Dreamcatcher bat thing is really cool. I like that. And I feel like I'm probably going to be spending most of my time playing this at night. So I understand there's a time difference between the two games. So I may actually be able to play during the in-game day.
Okay.
Which is something I don't have the heart, like in Animal Crossing, to change my time so that when I'm playing at 12 a.m., I'm actually playing at like noon.
Yeah. So I'm thinking of getting Sun. I'm leaning towards that. I like some of the differences they've made in Sun better. Not necessarily the legendary. I don't really care for either of them. Mm-hmm. So I think they look interesting, just kind of generic. I'm more interested in the Ultra Beasts. So
yeah. Well, that's something. Yeah, I'll have to catch up on all the announcements before I go diving in.
Yeah, so I think you can transfer the Greninja that you get in the game, right?
From the demo?
Yeah,
that's what I've heard. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's how it worked in the Ruby Sapphire.
See, I didn't play that demo, so
you got the Glalie, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
The ice meteor. Pokemon.
Yeah, I've never had a Greninja in a game, so it's pretty cool.
I picked Greninja as my starter in Pokemon.
Okay, I almost always go Grass type, so
I think honestly, I just pick whichever one I think looks the coolest.
Yeah.
And I'm
so I guess it'll be hard to pick then this generation. I don't like any of these designs.
I really like Litten. I'm not so sure how I feel about the super beefy buff boy evolution.
That has not been confirmed, to be fair. But probably.
That's what everyone is saying. He's going to turn into like the massive muscle guy.
Yeah. So there's like a Chinese leak, I think, that had concept art of this two-legged version of Litten that looks like a wrestler. So not sure about that.
Yeah, but initially, I think I'm probably gonna. Although, what's the water one? Poplio?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm saying that a little wrong.
I think so, but
Poplio.
That's it. I think it's Poplio. I kind of like what they're doing with Poplio, like that. It's a performer.
Yeah.
So like as it evolves, like it gets more and more comfortable with performing.
Yeah, and. Gosh darn, if it's final evolution, is it just the cutest thing?
Yeah,
I love
it really
it so
is.
Much.
Yeah, I'm not fond of the initial design, like just a seal with a ball on its nose, but
yeah,
I like the evolutions that they've shown. So, or I guess evolution, since they still haven't shown the final.
Yeah.
So I guess we should switch topics here.
Yeah. So let's see. What other news is there?
I was just gonna switch topics, but if you had anything else you want to throw in there.
Let's see. I know Rockstar announced Red Dead Redemption 2. People are pretty excited about that. It's not really Nintendo related though.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never played the first one, so it just hasn't. I'm just not a big fan of Rockstar games, so.
Yeah. I've been mildly interested in Red Dead Redemption. I've never played it, but it looks interesting. Okay. It's like a Wild West kind of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
So I think that looks like a lot of fun. So I'm interested to see what the second one does. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is announced to be for the Nintendo's new console.
That's the name of it. It's the Nintendo's new console.
Nintendo's new console plus. There will be two versions. They've announced it. I can't keep doing that. I was trying to see like how long I could go without actually talking about it.
So Nintendo Switch is here.
Yes, they've finally announced it, and we have a name. It is not the NX, it is the Switch. And just
before we begin, do you like the name?
I do. I really do. It's not weird. It's not a word. And I think like Nintendo Switch, it just I don't know. I like it. It just it feels nice.
Okay. I'm just kind of indifferent to it. So I don't love it, but I also don't hate it. So
yeah.
I really didn't like the Wii U name, and I still don't. I'm just used to it now. So.
Yeah. I never really got the Wii U, and it's like the Wii U, 3DS, new 3DS. It's like there's not enough of a distinction between the next generation.
Yeah,
but the Switch is. Where do we start with the Switch?
I guess just the hardware. Start with the hardware.
Yeah. So they had about 3.5 minute video. It was kind of it was like a showcase. They were showing how people were using it.
Yeah, it reminded me of like the E3 2012, or I guess was it 2011 that they showed that? It was 11 when they first did like the dad walking into the room wanting to watch baseball, and the kids take it onto the gamepad.
Yeah.
Just throwing in like a whole bunch more unrealistic scenarios.
Yeah, but it gave us a good idea of what the system's capable of and how they're kind of trying to market it.
Yeah.
So it starts off with the guy. He's very early morning. He's playing Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, which it was such a tease when they zoomed in and he was holding the controller at an angle that you couldn't quite see what it was.
Yeah.
But then they showed the TV and you're like, oh my gosh, just show it, just show it, just show it.
Yeah. And then the dog starts barking, and I watched this with Becky, my wife, and her first comment was she wanted to know if they were bundling the dog with the system. So I thought.
I don't know. Miyamoto's a dog lover, so maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. Free puppies with every Switch. And so it does that. I don't remember if it shows him holding the controller. I think
he pops off these two like halves of controllers and puts them onto the tablet in the center, and then pulls it out. And so the moment he pulls it out, it switches to the screen. The Switch screen.
Yeah. So to try and kind of give it a little more description.
Yeah, I don't think I did a good job with it.
Okay, so the controller is set up. There are
just watch it.
Yeah, the left and right halves detach from the main controller, which is I guess wireless, and then those halves slide onto this screen, which is docked in this sort of cradle, I guess. And you pull that screen out of the cradle, and you basically have, which I guess the closest thing you could liken it to is the Vita. And the entire game is running on that screen. So right off the bat, that suggests to me that the dock is just for charging.
It really is. So
it's just for charging and exporting to the TV. Which is just mind-boggling that they would be able to get something. And bear in mind, I think they've said that Breath of the Wild is going to be more graphically intensive than the Wii U version.
I think we've all assumed that, but I don't know if they said that.
I think I saw an article after the fact where there was some kind of mention about that.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure it will.
Just the fact that that this tablet, and it doesn't for what it's doing, it doesn't look very thick. I'd say maybe 7 or 8 inch tablet.
Yeah, it's pretty thin too.
Yeah.
Given that the tablet itself is the console, not the dock. So
right, it's mind-boggling that it's powering that much graphically. And one thing I think they've kind of announced is that they're working with NVIDIA. They're using their Tegra processing architecture, and I have a few comments about that, a few thoughts which we can get into later.
Okay,
but that makes it kind of a little less wondrous because NVIDIA's got crazy good graphical processing hardware, and their Tegra line is very good for mobile processing. So I'm not quite sure where I was going, where I was headed, but it kind of makes sense that this tablet is powering the entire gaming experience, and the dock is just for charging.
Yeah, because they made the NVIDIA Shield, right? Mm-hmm. I think that was streaming from your PC, though, wasn't it?
So they have a couple different versions. They had the Shield. The original Shield was like a controller with a screen that like pops up, attached to it, which is kind of a neat concept, a little clunky. And then they had the Tegra Note 7, and then just like the Shield, and then the Shield K1, which is kind of a minor update to.
I didn't know they made like different versions of it.
Yeah,
because it didn't sell at all, so I'm not sure how they got.
Well, the most recent one, I think it's been selling pretty good. I think a lot of people rate it as one of the best budget tablets, and I think rightly so. It's very good graphically.
Oh, okay.
And it is capable with NVIDIA's Game Stream service. As another thing I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
But again, I think we could get into that later.
Yeah.
Because we still have to get through the trailer.
Yeah. So then
he takes it.
It switches to the airport scene.
Mm-hmm. So first of all, still the guy with the dog. He's out. He's in like a field with his dog, a park or something. That right away says that it says more strongly, or I guess emphasizes that all the power is on the screen itself. So it is not streaming from the dock. Yeah,
as you had predicted from our Lost episode.
Yeah, we recorded yet more speculation and figured it was probably in the listener's best interest that we leave that out.
Yeah. So then it goes to the guy at the airport.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really show too much there until he gets on the plane. Except, well, they did show the cartridge slot, which is interesting.
And I looked at the gallery on Nintendo's website, and it looks maybe a little bit thicker than a 3DS cartridge.
Yeah, it does not have backwards compatibility. That has been confirmed. So
it does not have physical backwards compatibility. So they could offer software. Mm-hmm. At the very least, they could do regular DS games if they don't do 3DS.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
I mean, because the Wii U has Virtual Console for the DS.
So you're saying that it would have
at the very least, if they don't offer 3DS as like downloads.
Yeah, probably as Virtual Console. They're calling like Wii and DS games Virtual Console now. So
yeah,
makes me feel old.
It is a weird feeling, like seeing these things that you were there when they came into existence.
Yeah.
Are now like, oh, these are the retro classics. It's like I was there when it came out.
Exactly. So then he boards his plane, and they show that it actually has a little stand that comes out on the back. And then he detaches both controllers and then uses it just as a mini television, and then kind of holds both mini controllers like you would a Wii remote and nunchuck.
Yeah. Also, he's playing Skyrim.
Yeah, the remastered Skyrim.
Which I was surprised. I had no idea that was confirmed for the Switch. And I keep almost calling it the NX.
Yeah, it wasn't before this, but Bethesda had said that if I guess then NX would have been powerful enough that they would consider making games for it. Mm-hmm. So this would probably be them like testing the NX's capabilities. So
right. I think I had a note about the kickstand. It doesn't look particularly sturdy. It looks rudimentary at best.
Yeah.
But I would expect that there will probably be third party cases with better options.
And we don't really know until it looked kind of flimsy.
Yeah.
But
also, it shows off the two halves of the controller that came from the original controller are work wirelessly.
Yeah. Should we talk about the controller it comes with?
Yeah. So it's called the Joy-Con. And each side has an analog stick and 4 buttons,
Yes.
arranged in the D-pad or face button pattern.
Yeah, and it's like that so that when you detach them and play co-op games, that each person has the same amount of buttons.
Right. So. It looks like they showed it a little later in the trailer. They had multiple people holding the controllers.
Yeah, it looks so tiny though. It's hilarious to see these like adults holding these tiny little like Famicom-sized controllers.
Yeah, Famicom mini edition.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's really interesting, and that's another thing I kind of wanted to mention. I'm getting a very strong Famicom vibe, just from it having 2 controllers at any given time. Mm-hmm. And also, you'll kind of hold them in a similar manner where you have the control stick. You can hold them sideways, so you have the control stick on the left and the buttons on the right.
But back to the controller that it comes with. So what they show there is there's like it's kind of like an open controller, and then you put those 2 smaller controllers into it, and it looks like it's a charging station as well.
Yeah, they're like
it has 2 green lights next to them.
Yeah, well, it has what looks like a series of lights. Only like 2 of them are lit up, 1 on each side.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we mentioned it. They don't like plug in. They kind of slide onto the edges of the controller and the screen.
Yeah, but I think this thing is really ugly. You can give me your opinion.
The regular controller,
the base controller, yeah,
it's not very pretty.
Like that is like I will not be using that. I will be buying their Pro controller thing that they showed off later in the trailer
when they
day one
when they release it.
Yeah.
Also, months later,
no D-pad. Then, if you're using that controller, you don't get a D-pad. So
they have like the same, like the buttons are arranged the same way.
Yeah, but they're buttons, not a D-pad, which it's completely different.
Like, yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, like they have the same function, but it's not that plus.
Yeah, but like you use a D-pad by putting your thumb in the center and like rocking it around. So
right.
Okay, you kind of lose that.
Yeah.
With buttons.
Well, I'm sure there'll probably be like with the kickstand. I'm sure there'll be like third-party solutions.
A piece of plastic you just put over, like a plus you put over the buttons.
Well, yeah. I mean, because if you think about it, like the PlayStation has had controller enhancements, like it has extended triggers and things like that. I know I personally, when I had a Game Boy Advance, I got faceplates that had like almost analog stick type deal that it was like a faceplate that you put on top, and it just presses the D-pad, but it felt like an analog stick.
Really?
Yeah. So
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah. I don't know why. I think because I really wanted to buy something for my Game Boy, and I didn't have a lot of money. I could afford that. But yeah, I think there will be solutions for that.
Okay.
And if Nintendo doesn't provide them, somebody will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be terrible. It's just when I play side scrollers, I want a D-pad, and the Pro controller has one. And it's the only way to have one.
Right. And I totally see where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's really nothing else about that really bothers me aside from the fact that it's really ugly. But that's.
Now, to be fair, I kind of see the reason that they did that so that each controller.
Oh yeah, I completely understand. But like when I'm playing a single player game, just like on a couch looking at the TV, I want a D-pad. So yeah. What did you think of the Pro controller though? Assuming that's what it's called, the classic Pro controller.
The Wii U gamepad,
new
nunchuck controller Pro
classic.
Classic.
I thought it looked a little bit flimsy.
I honestly didn't think about it as much as you've thought about it.
See, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm going to be buying that and using it like a lot, so I needed to study it pretty hard. And it looked a little bit cheap. It could just be the lighting, or maybe it's just an early model, but...
Yeah. I mean, like, the plastic did kind of have that sort of textured quality that I typically associate with hollow, flimsy things.
Yeah. It almost gave off like a hint of Ouya, and I hate to say that because that Ouya controller is horrible. But
yeah,
the
Ouya itself was just kind of
it was a thing.
It was a thing that happened, and I guess nobody talks about it anymore.
Yeah. So I guess if you didn't really see it, we won't stay on that too long.
Yeah, I didn't really study it too hard. It looks pretty standard,
yeah.
I guess.
I'm assuming it'll have like the Wii U Pro controller. It'll be the same buttons and analog sticks, just like put into a controller form.
Yeah.
So and the NX actually has real triggers this time. I made sure to pay attention. I was looking for triggers like on my fourth time of watching it, and they look pretty good. Did you see them?
On the Pro controller or the
no,
regular?
On the actual system.
Yeah, I saw that it had shoulder buttons. I didn't see if it had triggers.
Yeah, I think I saw some triggers on there, and they looked similar enough to the Xbox.
Okay, well that's good. One thing, because kind of jumping ahead a little bit, they showed a bunch of people doing a Splatoon tournament.
An unrealistically large.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
people.
that was probably very heavily scripted. I guess the whole thing was, but
we're not jumping into software yet. So if it's
not, that's coming
okay.
up. That's next. After we're done, I guess talking about the hardware in the trailer. They were using they each bring their systems in and they dock them into their own in front of like their own television.
Yeah.
And they're playing with a Pro controller, which might suggest that the Pro controller has some kind of gyroscopic sensitivity.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Or maybe this one will just do dual stick better.
Maybe.
I mean, I thought the dual stick was kind of slow and clunky.
Yeah. Because I do just fine with like not twin stick, terrible twin stick shooters, like dual stick stuff. But first time I played Splatoon and I tried doing it that way, I found it just worked so much better using the gyro controls.
Yeah, unlike a certain Star Fox game earlier this year. Moment of silence.
Moment of silence for all
what it could have been.
For those lost in the events. Okay, so
I think the third scene they showed was the basketball players, which I don't see people being at a real basketball court and then like getting off of the court to play a virtual version of it. But
yeah, oh man, I'm so pumped about this game that I'm physically playing that I've just got to have this Power Fantasy on a video game console right now.
Again, some of these events they showed were very unrealistic, but I see what they were going for. So
what happens in this is they have the two teams kind of get together and they've each got. There are two consoles sitting kind of back to back on their kickstands, so they're total four controllers now, and so this seems to suggest that
like download play kind of thing or wireless.
Yeah, some kind of wireless play, and they didn't really. I mean, this we'll have to wait and see. It looked very easy. Like they just set them down next to each other, and they were playing. They were doing multiplayer.
Yeah, so maybe it has something like Street Pass where it detects another system that's like activated. And
now it could be something like download play where you have to tell it to.
Yeah, I hope not because that's so slow.
But maybe you have both systems in multiplayer, and they're looking for each other.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, very much so. We skipped. That's actually the fourth scene I was remembering. The third one is the. People in the like VW bus playing Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
So.
That so is Nintendo going to have some kind of car mount for this thing? Or was that
I wasn't sure what they were showing with that. They made sure to like show it in the first frame and then never again.
Yeah, they did kind of like specifically show them setting the thing in this mount.
Yeah. I'm not sure what that was about.
Yeah.
I can't see them manufacturing that, but
yeah. I mean, I guess we'll...
That seems more like something a third party would do. Like to try and make some money.
Yeah, Nintendo's working with a lot of partners. Like a lot of people are in on this.
Mm-hmm.
So they very well could have something available day one or very soon after release.
Yeah, possibly. So I'm trying to think. What was the next? Did it skip to the lady playing Mario?
After the basketball scene, I think
where like another unrealistic segment.
The guy on the plane, he gets back to his apartment or whatever.
Oh, that was back in the. That was still segment 2.
Right, I'm kind of backtracking a little bit. He sets the screen back in its dock and grabs the Pro Controller, and the game that he was playing on the screen resumes on his TV.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't get over it that this tiny screen can power something as graphically intensive as Skyrim.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it works, like in real life. You had mentioned demo stations are going to be interesting.
Yeah, because I'm not sure how are they going to showcase this? Are they going to have it displaying on a TV or on the screen itself?
Yeah, not really sure about that because it's not like Wii U where they're pushing 2 screen experiences. This is like 1 screen and then transitioning or switching.
Right.
So
I'm not sure. Are they going to try and market it like the Vita or? Because they've said it's a home console, so are they going to try and do it? Say like, hey, you can play this on your TV, but you can also take it on the go. So how are they going to like showcase that?
Yeah, that's something that like will be really great for your everyday life, but it's not something you can really showcase at like a convention or a store. So
right.
I mean, they'll showcase the games obviously, but it doesn't really showcase what the system is capable of.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
So then moving on to the lady playing Mario, Super Mario Switch, whatever it's going to be.
Super Mario Switch.
And then she's playing it, like randomly goes to her window and sees there's like a roof party.
Yeah.
And just magically beams over there.
Yeah, well, she takes her NX with her, and then they're all
Switch.
She takes the Switch with her, and they're all having a good time.
Yeah. So okay, well, I'll get into that later. I was going to say something, but
about the game itself.
Yeah, but we'll get into that.
I have a couple thoughts as well.
And then it went to the Splatoon tournament. Well, there were 2 different teams, but like the one team was just playing the game, and then the other team was like coming up with strategies for it.
Yeah, the other team had its they had their strategy together. They knew what they were doing. The other team was just goofing off.
It looked like a Japanese team, so it was like Nintendo was like, yeah, our Japanese team knows what they're doing. The Americans, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. It ended with the Splatoon. As they like zoom out and show this huge CG arena.
Yeah, that definitely was not like a real thing.
Yeah. But it does show that, like, I think that was Nintendo saying that they're more interested in getting into esports, and that they're really going to be pushing Splatoon as a brand. So.
Yeah, and I think that was pretty much the end of the trailer.
Yeah, the only other thing I got out of it was because they showed off more of Skyrim and whatever NBA 2K whatever, more than they did their own games. So this kind of tells me that Nintendo is really pushing or taking the third parties seriously this time around. So
yeah, which that's kind of something that they were like, oh yeah, we've got like great third party support for the Wii U. We've got EA and Ubisoft, and they didn't really pull through because a lot of the things that were supposed to be launch titles for the Wii U didn't come out until several months later.
Yeah, because the one weird one is, and I always forget this is on Wii U, but Mass Effect 3 is on Wii U.
Yeah.
That's the most bizarre thing ever. I've never seen it in stores, but I know it exists. Mm-hmm. So
did it ever actually release?
It did. It was a launch game.
I see that every so often. Oh, that was on the Wii U, and then I completely disregard it.
Yeah,
it's like I don't even remember there being an announcement for it.
I don't remember either. It just like showed up one day. I think EA was just trying to make some money, but it's like they knew that it wasn't going to do well. I mean, like, why would Nintendo fans get crazy over Mass Effect? Like, they don't have access to 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So
now, Nintendo fans want their JRPGs and side scroller Marios.
But this one seems like it's going to be focusing more on like all the audiences. So
yeah, it really feels like Nintendo is trying to make something that anyone can play. Something good. No matter what you're into, there's something for you.
Yeah.
And there are like a lot of things I have thoughts of that I want to get like back to.
Okay.
In that regard, I have a couple.
Okay. Well, if it's anything
that's more hardware related.
Okay. If it's hardware related, go ahead and say it now, because then we'll transition to.
Okay.
Software.
So I mentioned earlier that NVIDIA is a very prominent partner with the Tegra processors.
Mm-hmm.
And we've heard from Ubisoft that the NX has been a dream to develop for, which makes it seem like it's using familiar architecture.
Yeah,
stuff that developers work with very close to mobile platforms or PC.
Yeah, especially with the recently announced Unreal Engine 4 running on mm-hmm. Switch.
Yeah.
So that's a very popular engine now.
So, it's in that regard, this is like the best thing ever for indie developers. It sounds like it's going to be so much easier for anyone who like has a vision
mm-hmm.
to make something and get it on the Switch, which I think is fantastic.
Just to play devil's advocate here, though, that is going to allow more garbage games to appear.
That's going to give Skunk Software a little more of an easier time getting in. Yes, but at the same time,
no, I'm very excited for the indie scene here.
Yeah, and also because it seems like it's a similar architecture to what they have in the Shield series. It's very possible that we could get like maybe smaller mobile games running on this thing. Because I know there are like a lot of like really good mobile games, so it'd be interesting to see if those kinds of experiences get ported over to the Switch. I keep almost calling it the NX.
It's hard to get used to, but
yeah, I'm very excited because I see a lot of potential for indies.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so the first thing they show is Breath of the Wild, of course.
Yeah.
And maybe we should probably spend a day just talking about all of that, catch up on all the
because did you watch the 3 new videos that Nintendo released?
I actually haven't.
Oh, okay, they're really good. Yeah. I mean, it's not showing a whole lot that we haven't seen already, mm-hmm. but
I still need to catch up on all the E3 footage.
Oh, okay.
So I'm way behind. But yeah, we should focus on Breath of the Wild specifically sometime.
Yeah.
So
hopefully, if it's a launch game.
Yeah. It didn't really look too much different than what we've seen on the Wii U.
No, and it could even be that they were showing like the Wii U version if it wasn't quite ready for Switch.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think we can tell at this point.
Right. Hold on, let me check my notes.
What were you gonna? We already talked about Skyrim.
Yeah. I'm very excited about that. Having a portable Skyrim is very appealing to me.
That looks really good. Assuming that was the port actually running on the Switch.
Yeah.
It looks very good. And then they showed Mario Kart 8,
mm-hmm.
which could be one of two things. Either they are like allowing you to transfer and or purchase Wii U games digitally
mm-hmm.
For Switch, or it could be. And Nintendo does this with every new system. The first thing they do, each of their teams does, is they port over last generation's games. They've done that since the days of the NES. So,
right,
like there are things that we saw with the Wii U reveal that were just them transferring over like Wii Sports and whatnot. So,
right.
There's a lot of stuff they show in the initial reveals that we never end up getting. So
right, or and I think this is less likely. It could be an all new Mario Kart title.
That was not a new Mario Kart title.
That was not. That
no,
was.
I've put in like 100 hours into Mario Kart 8, so I'm very familiar. That was the first track of their first DLC course.
Ah, okay.
So,
what about the characters? Are those playable characters?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Then, so it probably is a
it was
a port.
Yeah, it didn't look any better either. So I'd expect. I mean, we know Mario Kart 9 or whatever it's going to be called is already in development.
Oh, we do.
Well, they always they don't say it, but
it's just assumed.
It's assumed. They do that every generation. As soon as they make one game, they start looking ahead to the next one. So,
let's see what else.
No, it's not confirmed, but it's basically confirmed.
Got it.
It makes money every time.
I really wanted to talk about this and get some of your feedback. New Mario.
Yes, Super Mario Switch.
Yeah,
as we're
so
calling
we
it.
got maybe a grand total of maybe 5 seconds of gameplay.
I think it was like 6.5, maybe.
Oh wow, that's if you count like the fraction of a frame that we saw while it was switching from the screen.
Yeah,
to
I am counting that. So,
it looks. I think you said specifically it looks like 64 Sunshine meets 3D World.
Yeah, that was the best. Like, so the first area they showed was a very like Mexico inspired town.
My first thought was it looked like a kind of a Wild West rainbow desert kind of deal.
Not really wild. There's a lot of like sombreros and cactus. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very much influenced by like Mexican artwork and whatnot.
I didn't actually like pause to study the scene.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
I was trying to like capture all the footage and like see like what was happening versus like what was in the scene. Sorry.
So as like Mario walks into town, like you can see like a skull with
into town.
Yeah, hops into town. You can see like a skull with a sombrero on the side.
Okay.
So, and the townspeople are dancing cacti. So
I'm into it.
Yeah, they're not toads.
Yeah, I'm all for not toad. And the second scene they show looked to be some kind of desert ruins.
Yeah, so this looks like it's part of the same world. Which I had a note back here. In the first scene, you can see like a beacon of light. So like maybe that's kind of like a new world that's opened up, similar to Sunshine.
I did notice in the town.
Yeah.
Like you could see what looked like maybe like stars, and there was one very large planet visible.
Yeah, there were no stars. That's actually sand rushing by. I thought that when I was pausing it, but as I rewatched it, it's actually sand. But yeah, you can see a very large moon in the background, which I thought was strange.
Yeah, so this could be like maybe is there some influences of Galaxy in this?
Possibly. There wasn't enough to fully say if this looked like a Galaxy game.
Yeah.
But what I did notice was when you see her playing the game, she doesn't have her thumb on the B button. Mm-hmm. So it means that, and Mario's still running. Like he's doing his full speed triple jump. So that means it's going back to analog control and not run buttons.
Okay.
Like in 3D Land and World.
Yeah. So I like that. So that gives it more of like the like you said the classic 64 Sunshine
Galaxy games. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of game do you think this is going to be? Do you think it's going to be like level based, or do you think it'll be open world?
So my hope is that like as Mario goes like from world to world, each world has a hub area, and then you go into different levels, more linear levels. So there's stuff to do in the hub world, but then also going into more like Galaxy style, 3D World style levels.
Right. So,
that's what I'm hoping for personally.
I think I'm kind of thinking something similar to where like you have your like main town area, and you can kind of freely explore the environment, but then there are more linear stages like the ruins.
Yeah.
That have like kind of like a set path that you're supposed to go, but you're not really like. Maybe there are different ways you can go about it.
Yeah, like Super Mario 64. That game is way more linear than I think a lot of people remember.
Yeah.
So something like that, and maybe, like I said, if maybe that beacon is one of those levels opening up, because they both of these scenes took place in a desert. So
yeah, and
probably have some connection.
The beacon kind of seems to say open world to me, as in like this is
as a hub. Yeah,
yeah. This is the maybe it's like a waypoint set, and so like you can go to it. I mean, open world Mario would be kind of weird, and it would really depend on the context of the game as to how it would work. But I'm very interested in. I'm very interested in finding out more.
Yeah, definitely. So, do you think this is more like this area, assuming it's a hub world? Do you think like this is the theme of the game? Like it's a more like southern Mexico inspired like desert world, or do you think this is just like a specific world? Like there's going to be like a more grass world, water world?
That's hard to say because on the one hand, that's almost a constant with the series that there will be a grass, a water, a fire, a ice, a sky. But Nintendo has said that they're trying something new with Mario. So
maybe that just meant the cactus that dance.
they're trying fewer toads. So I don't know. I think that would be really cool. It'd be. I know my notes. Clover's knocking stuff off.
So I made a few more observations when rewatching it and studying every like frame of the 5 seconds they showed us. But so coin rings are back from 3D World. The gold rings that you jump through to give you coins. That's what those appeared to be. Did you notice those?
I'd have to go back and study. I did see.
They're like just past the bullet bill.
Yeah.
So
go on, because you might have written it down.
Okay. Floating heart. Did you see the floating heart to the right of the screen in the second scene?
I did not.
Okay, so that seems to me to indicate the return of like a Mario Pi health bar rather than power-up based like 3D World and 3D Land. And then last observation, there are like, I don't know, crystal ice mountains.
Yes.
So they're like barriers or mountains, and I'm not sure what they are, but you can see them.
My first thought was the clear pipes in 3D World. And I saw it again, and they didn't have that uniform shape that the pipes do.
No, they look like ice mounds or icebergs or something.
Yeah. Maybe it's glass because the desert.
Yeah, I would assume it wouldn't be ice, but I'm just saying it looks like that.
Right.
Yeah.
If it is, they're stealing my ice mines level.
Well, you know, it could be because there's some kind of I don't know if it's quicksand or something, but the substance below Mario when he's making that jumping sequence, there's like something bubbling down there. You can see like in the lower right.
In the first scene?
Second scene.
In the second scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and really study it because I only watched them. I didn't pause it.
Okay. And then I guess the last observation, and this takes place after they show the footage, but when she's over on the roof party, she takes off a second controller and hands it to a friend, and they're both playing. So is this multiplayer confirmed? Is there a Yoshi mushroom? No, what did you say? A horse mushroom?
Yeah, the horse mushroom.
Is this confirmed?
Horse mushroom confirmed for Switch. That would be great. More likely, it's going to have multiplayer co-op. I would think.
Yeah. Well, that was part of your prediction, right?
Well, Sans horse.
Yeah. Well, I figured that was a joke, but although it would be kind of funny.
Right.
Not sure what it would accomplish. But
It would accomplish fun times and good laughs. It's a very funny joke.
wait, is that in the episode, our lost episode?
No, I think that's one of our first ones.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We brought it back up.
Yeah.
So any other thoughts on Super Mario Switch?
I think we've pretty much said everything. You had a lot more to say about it than I did.
Yeah, I was just looking for tiny little details, and there wasn't a whole lot. But I kind of wish Nintendo hadn't shown this off, because they just confirmed I think it was today, that we're not going to see anything else from the NX until 2017. So
Yeah.
no more looks at any of the Switch games until 2017. So this is it's kind of irritating that they showed a few seconds of this mystery Mario game, and then we're not going to see it for months.
Yeah, that's a little upsetting.
Had they just shown Skyrim, NBA 2K, whatever, and Breath of the Wild, I would have been happier.
To be fair, I feel like they almost had to show a Mario because Mario is the mascot, so people are gonna be wondering what's the next Mario game. So that's probably why they didn't show a lot. They wanted to show that yes, we've got it, and here's a glimpse of what we're working on.
It might have been better though had they shown it blurred in the background, focusing on the lady playing the game, so that we didn't actually see. They did that with Star Fox Zero in I think E3 2013.
I remember that.
Yeah, so you could see that there was a Star Fox game, but it was never truly confirmed.
Right, you couldn't quite make out.
Yeah,
exactly
you just knew that
happening.
next year you would see a new Star Fox game. So I kind of wish they'd done that with this game, blurred it so you could see Mario jumping, and that's it.
Don't you miss those moments where Star Fox could have been great, where in your mind it was the next best thing?
Yeah,
and then
that blurry video in the background is probably better than the actual game.
Yeah.
Whatever state it was in back then was probably better.
Yeah. I have no complaint against gyro controls. It's just that if they worked better, if the game were designed to work with that.
Yeah. We'll have to do a discussion on Star Fox Zero at some point.
That's a rabbit trail.
And you need to finish the game first. I'm going to make you finish it.
Okay.
So you can see the truly awful final boss.
All right, that's fair. It's is that where Crystal comes in? Because she couldn't be in the game, whatever. She's my favorite character because I don't know. Ventures was my first Star Fox game.
Well, Cat is in it, so
Cat is the new Crystal, except his Cat is the old Crystal.
Yeah, I was going to say the retro Crystal.
Yeah, retro Crystal.
So the final thing they showed was...
They should have called the Switch the Retro Crystal.
Okay, trying to get us back on topic here. Splatoon.
Yes.
So, what did you think of that footage?
That got my brain going a couple different directions. First of all, did we already say about porting or backwards compatibility?
Yeah, we already talked about that.
Okay, so there's that aspect. Let me double check my notes because
I had a few things to say about it, but I'll let you get your...
Yeah, so either this is a port of the Wii U version, and it's being made compatible or ported. I don't know. I think I wrote that before I'd seen that it wasn't going to be hardware compatible.
Okay. Well, we knew it wasn't going to be hardware compatible because there's no disk drive on it.
Right.
So
this is either going to be a port or a new entry. It's going to be Splatoon 2 or Splatoon. I see that one less likely because they didn't showcase anything that looked new about the game.
So here's where I'm going to... I guess I'll just say this. So when I was watching it, I think this game is going to be a mix of the two. I think this is going to be Splatoon for Switch, and it actually be called Splatoon for Switch, for Nintendo Switch, like they have done with Super Mario Maker for 3DS, stuff like that, where it's the same game but they've changed things.
Switch tune.
Because there actually are some differences.
Okay.
The Inklings have hairstyles. all of them have very different hairstyles.
Oh, is that
which is
not
not
a thing?
a thing? No, in
Okay.
the original game, you were either a boy or a girl. So
You were either a kid or a squid. I'm sorry. Go on.
yeah, so hairstyles. That is not part of the original game. It also looked better, slightly better than the original game. I don't know what resolution Splatoon runs at, but it's not visually pleasing. Like it's very colorful, but if you take a look, there's a lot of jaggies.
Okay.
So because this game was made by a newer team at Nintendo.
So they probably had it running at a lower resolution so that it would look.
Yeah,
it
so-
would run smoother.
Yeah, my guess is like this is an upgraded version
Okay.
and like just a port.
Here's kind of here's my thought.
Okay.
Could this have just been a pre-rendered cutscene?
It very much could have been. I need to look back at the gameplay they showed when the teams were getting ready, and I'll have to see if they had different hairstyles in that match. But when they show their characters like spawning, they do have different hairstyles. So.
Okay. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a Wii U, so I don't. I've only played it the one time. So
Yeah, like that immediately stuck out to me when I saw it. I was like, okay, so that is different. This is not quite Splatoon, but it doesn't look like a full-on sequel.
Okay, so just an upgraded port,
Exactly.
upgraded and updated.
Yeah.
Okay, so Splatoon 0.5,
Kind of. Yeah.
1.5.
Because I think that map was part of the original game. I don't remember because I got the game at launch and I stopped playing it pretty early on because I got bored of the same 5 maps. And then they added all this cool stuff, but then I don't know the later maps as well.
So you didn't play because you didn't know it.
Well, no, I just got tired of the game because I played so much.
You burned yourself out on
Exactly. And then they added all the cool stuff after I was kind of done with it.
Right.
So I've come back to it multiple times, but I don't know the maps quite as well. So I didn't instantly recognize which one that was.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it's one of the older, or I guess like free DLC maps.
Okay.
So that's really all I had on that.
Yeah. I think we've pretty much covered what all games, sports, I guess.
There was a basketball game.
There sure was.
It was a game about people running with a spherical object that's inflated.
2 opposing teams carrying an orange inflated balloon,
And throwing it into
throwing it from one to another and attempting to slam dunk that sucker into a basket high up in the air.
It did look really good, assuming that was running on
It did.
Switch. Like it looked really like 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
And did they say what the resolution on the screen is?
That's another thing. We won't get any specs until 2017.
Yeah. Everything good is going to happen in 2017.
Yeah, I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to afford it in time. Like I'm going to have to work real hard and pay off one of my credit cards just so that I can go into debt to get this thing.
Wow.
But
You can play mine. I've already been saving up.
no,
for
but
it,
see,
so.
we each have to get our own, so that
Well, you'll have it
we can
eventually.
so that we can set them next to each other
and play that sports game.
yeah, so we can play sports game together.
Sports games.
Sports
18.
game 2016,
No.
2017, 2K17, 2K18, 2. Sports game.
I don't know how to get out of that. You are the master of putting me in situations that are hard to transition out of.
I'm just kind of going through my notes.
Okay.
Console quality gaming on par with, if not surpassing, the Wii U. So, I think I can't remember the source, but I think someone somewhere has said that the NX is more graphically powerful than the Wii U.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is, but it's also not Xbox One, PS4 level. That's worth mentioning.
I wouldn't expect it to.
I'm assuming that it'll be able to run PS4, Xbox One games just at a lower resolution, maybe.
Let's talk potential Wii U 3DS compatibility.
Okay.
So if Wii U games are compatible with the system, and these will have to be downloads since they're not physically compatible.
Yeah.
How do you think they're going to implement the second screen, specifically for the Wii U?
That I'm not sure about. Like, because they specifically said physical, no, like, physical compatibility, that makes it sound like you will be able to play it, but I'm not sure. Here's the thing. Most Wii U games don't even use the second screen for anything useful, so I think, like, 90% of its library would be completely playable without a second screen.
Right, or some sort of update to where you can it would be on the pause menu, maybe.
Yeah. And I think you brought this up when we were messaging yesterday, but no touchscreen compatibility yet confirmed.
No confirmed touchscreen compatibility. Nintendo has been very adamant about not saying that.
Yes, I think they made a statement about not saying that.
Yeah.
So
I guess we gotta wait to see about that. So yeah, I think the easiest way to do it would be to just change things up to where any menu that you're using on the touch screen you access through the start menu, or the pause menu.
So like Breath of the Wild on Wii U really doesn't make use of the second screen. So I'm wondering if that's because they don't want to make the Wii U version superior. Because it would be if you could have item selection and maps constantly,
like they did in the HD Wind Waker.
Yeah, not so much in Twilight Princess, unfortunately.
I had a note here. So I can see 3DS games working, assuming that this is a touchscreen. I'm not sure how they would do it on the console end. I can see it working graphically just because the 3DS has such a low resolution, and Nintendo has stated that this is a, quote, bright HD display or high definition display.
Yeah.
I don't see them having a problem with getting the top and bottom screens on it.
Oh yeah, I think that'd be a pretty. I don't know the exact thing, so I won't say easy, but it seems, from my perspective, fairly easy to get that running. So.
Right. Well, I don't mean like I'm not saying like it's just like plug it into the NX and it'll just
just click and drag.
Just turn the switch on that says make it work on the Switch. I called it the NX again.
Did you?
Yeah, like in like one of those sentences, I called it the NX.
Okay, I think you're up to like 4 now. I think I have a couple at least.
Yeah, it's gonna take some getting used to, but I do like it.
That's what happens when Nintendo waits that long. They give us a code name like over a year ago.
Yeah,
and we've been using it ever since.
Yeah, I don't see them having a problem with fitting the screens on the device. Just because the resolution is significantly lower than...
Yeah.
The only real problems I think I see are with the... it'll have to be emulation, because the hardware is going to be a lot different than the 3DS.
Oh, definitely.
So...
Amiibo compatibility.
Oh, yeah, so I think that's confirmed.
It is confirmed.
But there's no word on how that's going to work. So
No, but interestingly enough, the woman playing Super Mario Switch has a bunch of Super Mario Amiibo, sitting next to her game system, where she inevitably scanned them in for something. So, probably a thing with Super Mario Switch.
Yeah.
Probably not going to be amazing, though. Unless they really do something...
I mean, Amiibo have been kind of meh.
They've been great collectibles, and nothing else.
That's pretty much it.
Yep. So really, we're just going to have to wait until next year.
Yeah.
For all of our questions. I'm just glad that we actually got to see what it is.
Yeah, I'm glad we finally got something good.
And now we're immediately on to now. Show us the games.
Yes, please. The games? The games. So it looks like you can basically hot swap this thing out of the dock. You don't have to power it up or down.
No, they just pulled it out and immediately switched over to the...
Like there's like a second and then it's there.
It was like it was less than a second delay.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
I know with the when he plugs it back into the TV to do Skype.
Yeah, there's a delay there.
Like a small delay, and then it pops up. But
So it has less trouble transferring because it's running that in the background on the handheld.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that it would be faster because it's just shutting off the screen on the handheld when you dock it.
Yeah.
It's still running it on that handheld, but
it's just displaying on a larger resolution.
So yeah, I'm very impressed with the Switch.
Glad I saw that like right at the end, or I would have just completely disregarded it. So it being a Tegra powered device, I can absolutely see this doing some sort of game stream functionality.
That would be interesting. But like, what exactly would it be used for?
So Nintendo could start up maybe a subscription service where for a monthly fee you can stream any of their titles to your system.
That's interesting.
Or any of their select titles, but
yeah, maybe you can re-up it with My Nintendo points.
Maybe
that would be nice.
Maybe they'll actually make My Nintendo worth something.
Yeah. Well, you got that lemon hood. You sent me the picture.
Yeah, I downloaded Metamo and I got the lemon hood.
Re-downloaded for like the fourth time.
Yes, I re-downloaded it, and then my phone said, "There's no room." So I was like, "Sorry." And
so you used it one time and then deleted it.
I didn't even answer any questions or listen to anything. I just got the lemon hood. I took a picture and then I deleted it.
Have you downloaded any of the 3DS themes?
No.
That's all I've been buying right now because there's nothing else. I don't even care about that. It's just that like I'm too cheap to buy any of their themes, so I might as well get them here.
Yeah.
The Jabanian theme's interesting. His eyes follow you when you scroll.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And it plays Yokai Watch music.
Do 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 do.
Not that one.
Oh.
I think it's like the Jabanian theme.
I like Jabanian.
Yeah. It's the Pikachu of Yokai Watch.
Meow. I don't know.
Wonder if that'll be Niantic's next game, is Yokai Watch Go. It'd be like this, almost the same thing.
It would be tragically hilarious if it ends up being better than Pokemon Go.
It probably would be, honestly. Pokemon Go is like not even a game.
No.
We've run out of things to say. We should wrap this up.
So I think we've pretty much covered all of our thoughts. Do you have anything? Do you have anything else? Any lingering?
Not really. I mean, we pretty much got everything from that trailer. So
yeah, everything that they showed and everything that can be deduced from what's been shown. I think we pretty much hit everything.
I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, this has been a pretty dense podcast.
We need to work on an ending. It's official.
The end.
What if we really ended there?
I'm Charles Fillmore.
I was just going to say, should we announce that we were planning on doing a Color Splash playthrough?
Yes.
Assuming that happens.
Yeah. So we're still trying to get all the hardware figured out. We've got it. We just have to figure out how it's all going to work together. But we are planning on doing a playthrough of Color Splash.
Yeah, we're hoping to bring back playthroughs on Quadratics Gaming. So
yeah, it's just been really hectic with both of our work schedules. Plus, I have family life. So, but we're definitely making an effort to bring that back. Also, we're still trying to figure something out to do with Patrick. I think we said we were going to try and do a Rareware.
Yeah, he'll be back. I think he just said around Thanksgiving. He just messaged me today. So
okay.
So maybe we can do that episode then.
All right. Well, the sooner we know about it, the better, because then I'll be able to plan.
Yeah.
I don't know if my job's going to have me working any kind of overtime, but we will have more info as we get closer to that. But the sooner I know about it.
Yeah. So we're hoping to grow the channel a little bit more. So
yeah. So stay tuned, and thank you for listening. And I guess we should wrap it up now.
Yeah, so I'm Zach Tussing.
I'm Charles Fillmore.
And this has been
QGP.
Nailed It.
I'm usually the one who screws it up. Like he's like, "Hi, I'm Zach Tussing," and then I'm like,
"Well, I
and then you
swear
start
you
to
established
say
a canon."
me.
Yeah, and then you go against it every time,
every single time. Like no matter, it's like, okay, so we definitely do it this way. Like I'm the one who says that.
Yeah,
like,
I'm totally gonna write it on like a Post-it note and just stick it on your iMac, so that you can just have a script there for the intro.
Yeah, it says like, okay, wait this many seconds, don't speak.
This is going into the bloopers.
Yeah.